This is Dolynny TV, and guys, welcome back to another Edmonton Oilers discussion for today. You know, yesterday I talked about two things, right? Obviously, the elimination, where our heads as Oilers fans should be at, and what we need to think about going down the last few games. Obviously, another craptastic night against Colorado last night. That aside, it's something we have to talk about because a couple of you will mention it week by week, month by month as we have gone along this season. Is obviously there's this attitude within the national media. I'm not going to say just Toronto-based because it's within the national media of the NHL in Canada and in the U.S. Let's not forget, just because Toronto says something, somebody down in the U.S. is also saying that about Connor McDavid. And mainly what has come to fruition the past 3 or 4 days as we've been eliminated is the simple fact that everybody is so gung-ho, gosh darn, that Connor McDavid needs to request a trade if he wants to make the playoffs because the Oilers are a dumpster fire and they don't want to make the playoffs and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Well, hold on a second here, guys. What we seem to forget in all this is the fact, as you pointed out, right, back to what I was saying about you guys pointing things out, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a first overall pick in an NHL entry draft as well. Okay, let's slow the horses there. Everybody chiming the Connor McDavid always needs to make the playoffs chime. Guess what? Guess who has been through a lot worse times in Edmonton, a lot tougher times in Edmonton than Connor McDavid? It's Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Earlier this year I did a video saying that Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is the Oilers' second best forward. And at the time, I had no problems defending that point. Obviously, yes, now the emergence of Leon Draisaitl as an all-around player has changed my opinion a little bit. But he's still a number 3 player on a team, your second-line center, and a number 1 overall pick in an NHL entry draft, who has been through the craptastic years. The 1 year we made the playoffs, he had a down year, I believe. And it's just to sit here and see the utter anger from national fans of the NHL towards the Oilers for wasting Connor McDavid, yet everybody ignores the fact that Connor McDavid isn't the one who's been through the worst of it. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is the lone other pick the Oilers haven't traded of their top 4 besides, or of their top 1s, besides Connor McDavid, right? Obviously, yes, Yakupov gone, Hall gone as well. You've got McDavid, who's the most recent, and you've got Nuge, who is the second of the line. Well, guess what, guys? I'm getting really sick of seeing this national media, international media push that Connor McDavid needs to request a trade if he doesn't make the playoffs, because it's not that I'm saying that's a wrong argument. I'm not. You know what? It is what it is. It's generating headlines. It's getting us to talk about it like it is today. That's the way news works. Yesterday when I talked about how the media was trying to get a gut reaction out of Connor McDavid after being eliminated, ambush tactics, that's the way media works. I've been through the training. I've gone through school. I've done it for a living. It's the way media works, and unfortunately, guys, all I can preach to you is we just have to deal with it. That's why we have our little slice of heaven here where we all get to discuss our opinions. I get to give you mine. You get to give me yours in the comments, and we all get to intermingle and actually get some level-headed conversation going for the most part. So, with that said, Connor McDavid, you know what? Let's chill out on that and actually focus on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, because, guys, the Oilers have been a dumpster fire for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins majority of his career, right? Obviously, you've had 2 first-round picks in the span of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins' career, the 2012 season where we picked up Yakupov, and then, of course, Connor McDavid's year. Well, what does that tell you? That tells you Nuge is a soldier, and this is the best thing yet about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He is having a career year. He's only played 1 season above 80 games. He did hit 80 games twice in his career. He played 80 in, that was 13-14, but he hit 82 in 16-17, the playoff year, in which he had a down year. He only had 43 points, but that team was finding a new route and then totally went nowhere the next season. However, besides the point again. 67 points for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and we don't hear a peep. We do not hear a single peep out of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins that, right? Like the national media likes to think that Connor McDavid is doing. That we don't hear it. We don't hear a single cent from Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and that is the point of today's video, because right now what I want to get to is as simple as this, guys. My view on Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is the Oilers have in him Ryan Smith. The Oilers have a heart and soul, copper and blue, bleed it on the line every night kind of guy that is going to be here as long as the franchise keeps him around. Now, Ryan Smith, obviously, there's a lot of nasties that went on involving him getting traded to New York and the whole going away for a couple years and coming back. But Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a guy I strongly believe, out of Connor McDavid, out of any Oiler past or present since 05-06, will be a lifelong Oiler. And the reason I believe that is because you sit here in the face that the national media, the local media, everybody is losing their mind that Connor McDavid hasn't made the playoffs for 3 of his 4 years in the NHL. Meanwhile, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins hasn't made the playoffs in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of his 8 years in the NHL, yet we don't hear a peep. And that is exactly why. Now, of course, we can make a couple assumptions here. Being a Burnaby, BC boy, well, guess what? He's not in hockey mecca in Toronto. I mean, I appreciate what Toronto's done, and Toronto media and national media has done for the game of hockey. Don't get me wrong. But just think, if Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was the #1 overall pick from the greater Toronto area, you can't tell me that we would be not hearing the things that we are about McDavid the same as we would about Nuge. There's no way. So for Nuge, he's been as good of a soldier as anyone can possibly be in terms of everything. Does he get frustrated? I'm sure. Has he said something in the media about being frustrated before? I'm sure. I just can't think of it. But because, you know what? Day in, day out, season out, grind in, grind out, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins bleeds copper and blue, doesn't go out there and force headlines. Not like Connor McDavid's doing it either, but you just don't have the distraction because there isn't, the obsession, which is totally wrong considering he is a #1 overall pick in the NHL, and he's just been on a dumpster fire of a team longer than Connor McDavid has. So it's a little mind-numbing to sit here and see the national media lose their minds about Connor McDavid, but you don't hear a single cent about, oh my God, they're wasting Nuge, they're wasting him, oh please, heavens, don't waste Nugent-Hopkins, like you do with Connor McDavid. You just don't hear it, and that absolutely, to me, that is a very disappointing thing, because Nuge, for what he's done in Edmonton, for what he's gone through, deserves just as much, if not more respect than Connor McDavid, right? Let's not pretend what it sounds like when the media is making such a heyday mess of the Connor McDavid situation in Edmonton. It sounds like he's not getting points, sounds like he's not getting trophies, sounds like he's not doing anything, but then when he does get the points, they use it as a knock against him, which is just absolutely mind-numbing, the backward bending way to try and wrap your head around that to make sense of it when Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has been steady Eddie all his career, never complained, and sit here and all of a sudden you're making it all about one Toronto kid where you've got Burnaby, BC's pride, getting nowhere in his career either, #1 overall pick in the NHL entry draft, and not a word, not a single word. And to me, that's just a little bit disappointing. I think that's only an Oilers fan thing. I don't think anybody else outside of Oilers fans really is going to pick this up and run with it. I don't think anyone's going to. And that's the disappointing thing about the whole Ryan Nugent-Hopkins era in Edmonton, is it just seems that he has a lack of respect across the league, in my opinion, and he only gets better with time. And that's what a #1 pick is supposed to do. He's supposed to dazzle you and keep dazzling you and keep getting better. And that's exactly what Nugent-Hopkins has done. Anyway, I've ranted long enough. My voice hurts. I've got an inflamed tonsil, I think is the word. Yeah, tonsil. Jeez, long day at work. Whew. Anyway, I'm going to go. I'll let you have your say in the comments section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll chat with you then, and we'll talk throughout the night, and we'll discuss it as we go. And I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Cat scratching at the door. It is time to go. I am up on out of here.